Hello and welcome back to the mysterious thief Forget-Me-Not. The way our protagonist parted last time makes me think we might have a misunderstanding on our hand, but, well, what's a story without a little drama, eh? Let's see what they make of it. 1, 2, 1. No good, I still can't seem to focus. The rest of the day felt like a hazy mess. I took a long nap after the episode earlier, almost missing evening practice as a result. And the whole time since, I've been trying to take my mind off of what happened, to get back to at least a bit of normalcy, but I still feel terrible. Not just from the side effects, but also because of Desiree. I hope she doesn't think poorly of me because of that. How do I even explain it to her, though? Would she even understand? These kind of thoughts have been swirling in my mind all day, not giving me any chance to breathe. Even now, while I continue to practice by myself, my movements feel stiffer and more sluggish as a result. I sigh deeply, taking a drink from my water bottle as I stare off into the distance. Maybe I should call it here? No, I can't afford that, not when I'm still so far behind. My train of thought is interrupted by a light outside the doors, a security guard making their rounds to check the rooms. Ducking into the blind spot, I hold my breath as I wait for them to pass by as usual. But they don't. What? Instead of lazily checking inside the room like I expect them to, they instead walk right in and head straight for the blind spot. They shine their flashlight in my direction, causing me to stand up and brace myself.
Just what do you think you're doing here, miss? Don't you know how late it is?
I stammer, not expecting to be found so easily as I try to respond. I'm truly sorry. I didn't mean to. But in the middle of my rambling, I hear the guard laugh under their breath.
Hey, relax. It's just me.
Of course it is. I feel my mouth hang open upon realizing who this was. You, the trespasser from the other night.
That's correct. It's a pleasure to see you again.
They quickly take the uniform off, revealing the attire they wore the other night hidden underneath. That sounds impractical. Yeah. Like a shirt over that?
Sure. There we go, much better.
How in the world did you do that so fast?
Trade secret.
I can't help but laugh, feeling the tension fade as they put their flashlight away. With just the two of us in the room, and with it not feeling as awkward as last time, I continue. If I may be so bold, just who are you? Between the disguise, how you've noted down the security routes, and how skilled you are at sneaking around, you're clearly anything but a normal trespasser.
I suppose introductions are in order. You can call me Crow. I'm an information broker of sorts. My apologies for not introducing myself before. A little hard to when we're trying to sneak out, you know.
I blink, still trying to process their introduction. Crow? Like the bird?
That's what you focus on. Just to be clear, it's an alias, not my actual name.
I mean, I assumed as much.
Okay, good. You'd be surprised at how many people I've had to explain that to. Ouch.
I let out a small, embarrassed giggle. Well, it's nice to meet you regardless. But what does an information broker need to sneak into a theater in the dead of night for? They pause for a brief moment yet again.
I suppose it's fair to answer that. I was hired to look into your company, specifically the lead dancer, Damien Petrov.
Damien? Is this about those rumors that have been flying around?
I knew you'd get it. That's right, my latest client wanted me to check the validity of those rumors.
I suppose they have gotten quite out of hand. You can take my word that Damien is a good man. I've known him for a long time now.
Yeah, I've confirmed that the rumors are just a bunch of bull, so my job is done.
They suddenly look at me with a serious expression, shifting the mood.
But I came here to apologize to you.
Apologize? Whichever for?
You're Irina Lebedev, right?
I nod.
I had to do some digging to confirm those rumors and anything related to them, and I ended up stumbling upon your past dealings.
Even without saying it outright, I immediately know what they're referring to. They avert their gaze from me, sheepishly scratching the back of their neck.
It wasn't on purpose, and I felt bad about reading your personal info like that, which is why I'm apologizing. But I also want to make it up to you.
Their words pull me out of the melancholy mood as I now stare at them. Make it up to me?
That's right. I may not look like it, but I've actually helped a lot of people in your situation before. Just say the word and I can help you deal with them if they're still trying to bother you in some way.
I stare at them a while longer before letting out a sigh. That's very sweet of you, but you don't need to worry. He passed away, so I haven't had to worry about him following me around or whatnot.
Okay. So a stalker or something.
I sit down on the bench nearby as I stare at my hands. Even though there was nothing legally binding us, I still lived with him for 2 years, or rather, I had to deal with all that for 2 years. Okay. Crow takes a seat next to me, leaning their back against the wall with their arms crossed.
2 years is a long time in that kind of situation. The effect it probably had on you must have been rough, to put it bluntly.
Quite the understatement. However, recovering and moving on has been a bit easier to manage because of everyone around me. My parents and my uncle, of course, supporting me the most out of anyone. And even when I opened up to my friends here, they were nothing but supportive. Even the company has helped in accommodating me, going so far as to approve my admittedly selfish request to have my own suite, so I don't bother the others. I clenched my hands tighter, leaning my back against the wall. But it's still so hard. I lost 2 years of my life to him. 2 years I've been trying so hard to make up for. Crow leans forward, resting their chin on their hands.
Hence the extra practicing.
I give them a solemn nod. I used to be part of a different ballet company, but he made me quit. They're a much stricter company than Pavlova, very old-fashioned and traditional. When I tried to rejoin, even after explaining everything, they rejected me. I even re-auditioned numerous times. I got my start there and they just tossed me aside. It's only because of my uncle that I was able to find the courage to audition here after that.
So she was right.
I'm pulled out of my melancholy monologuing at their sudden comment. She?
Oh, sorry, that slipped out. I'll be honest, I was asked to check up on you if I saw you tonight by Desiree.
Desiree? You mean Desiree LaChance?
The one and only.
I stare at them in stunned silence.
I know that sounds really hard to believe and like a big coincidence, but I'm being honest.
I continue to stare at them before letting out a soft giggle.
What's so funny?
Oddly enough, I believe you. Any normal person wouldn't be monologuing their life story to someone they just met, but you give off that same kind of calmness that she does somehow. It puts me at ease. They now stare back at me, the look of confusion on their face instead. It doesn't last long, however, as they let out a chuckle.
She really does have that effect on people, doesn't she?
We both laugh together, which helps the gloomy mood slowly fade away. Earlier today we had such a nice time together, just chatting and being in each other's company. But I ruined it with a sudden episode. I still feel so terrible about it. Crow lightly places a hand on my shoulder, giving me a soft smile.
If I know that kid, and I definitely do, then I can guarantee you that she's more worried about you than about you ruining anything. The other night she came up to me and asked if I saw you, and when I did, you know what she said? So she is overworking herself.
She knew? But how?
The kid's smarter than she looks, let's just say that. But even considering that, she's not a mind reader. She may have pieced together what you were up to, but in the end she just wanted to hear it straight from you. And that's part of why she asked me to check up on you, after all.
I think back to the last moments in the flower shop with her and what she was telling me. To even partially become someone you feel comfortable around. So that's what she meant. I'm worried that I may have scared her off though. It was a pretty bad episode. How do I explain to her why that happened or what causes it?
You don't have to.
I pause and turn to them. Pardon?
I said you don't have to, at least not fully. I assume the episode earlier was triggered by something, correct?
I give him a nod and he continues.
Well then, you can first let her know about that trigger so you two can either avoid it or work around it. And then from there, she can take her time learning the rest. You spilled everything to me because I got all the context from your files, but she's pretty foreign to all of that, even with her intelligence. For now, it's fine to cut some things out until later, when you feel more comfortable.
I stare at Crow, surprised at everything they just said. But when I try to say something in response, I realize just how right they are. I never considered that. I've always just said everything at once, so everyone could understand in the past. What do I do until then, though? It feels weird to not tell her everything if I mean to make up with her. Crow gets up from the bench and turns around to look at me.
Well, first you go back to the hotel and get some sleep.
But
No buts. You're not gonna be thinking clearly about anything if you practice yourself into exhaustion right now.
I sheepishly smile at them as I get up from the bench as well. This ended up being a convoluted way of telling me to stop practicing, wasn't it?
Your words, not mine. Just keep what I told you in the back of your head the next time you see Desiree. She'll understand, I guarantee it.
After a little stretch, Crow makes his way to the doors. However, I call out to him before he takes a step outside. Crow. Thank you, really. It was nice being able to talk to someone about this again.
You're very welcome. Good night, Miss Lebedev. I hope to not see you in this theater at night again if I have to come back here for anything.
With a little wave, they take their leave. I in turn start to pack my things up as well, ready to head back to the hotel as they instructed. Once at the door, I turn back to look at the empty, silent practice room. I think Twin Bells has been my favorite stop so far, if not just for all this. Amaryllis. Finished chapter 2. Okay. So a troubled past with a very bad ex, it sounds like. I wonder if we're gonna get more info, like more details on that. We don't have to. Like, it's fine. I think we get the gist. Like a partner going so far as to make her quit the company she was dancing at? No. Absolutely no. And of course, if that's the cause of panic attacks, I mean, we don't need to know the details to know that it was very bad. Okay. God, I'm finally out of there. After making sure the coast is clear, I hop out of my hiding spot and survey my surroundings.
Every goddamn time I tell myself the same thing. I definitely won't take any more theater jobs. No way, they're too much of a hassle. And then I end up looking like a complete fool. I take 'em anyways.
I let out a heavy sigh, then stare at my bag, filled to the brim with tonight's work.
I can finally consider it done, though. At least once I give him my report, that is.
Quickly putting on a wig, I call up a cab with my sights set on my final destination for the night. Chapter 3. Crow. I guess it was to be expected that he would be one of the POVs, but interesting. After leaving the cab behind and walking for a bit, I finally make it to my stop. Sitting just outside the city is the large 2-story manor looming before me. Every inch of it is designed and laid out to make it obvious to anyone visiting that someone important lives here. While mostly dark, save for the lamps outside, a few rooms are still lit, with the largest near the main balcony being one of them.
Good, he stayed up like I asked him to.
Is it gonna be Max? Was that his name? Taking a quick look around to make sure I don't bump into anyone along the way, I sneak up to said balcony. I climb up on one of the support beams and perch myself just above the door. Taking a peek inside, I see my client and one of his mates sitting inside the room.
Hope this works.
I pull out an audio recorder from my pocket, turning on an inconspicuous sound to try and grab his attention.
Could you leave me alone for a moment?
Of course, sir. The maid sets aside the tray she was holding and curtsies, taking her leave. Very old-fashioned, okay. Once she's fully out of the room, my client gets up from his seat and walks outside onto the balcony, and I hop down next to him.
Good evening. And good evening to you too.
Oh no, okay. Not the... was it the sun?
Crow.
Standing before me is none other than Sir Wilkinson himself, who looks more than pleased to see me despite how late it is.
You being here must mean that everything has been taken care of, correct? That it has.
I pull out a small pile of documents from my bag, carefully unfolding them as I hand them over. Sir Wilkinson pulls out a pair of reading glasses from his front pocket and looks them over carefully.
I looked into those rumors as thoroughly as possible, just as you had asked, and found nothing that suggests there's truth to them. Seems they started in Paris, when the lead dancer accidentally made an albeit rude response to one of the employees of the theatre they were at. It was minor, but another company that's on bad terms with Pavlova caught wind of it and turned it into something worse by spreading a nasty rumor. Sir Wilkinson nods his head, listening to me as he reads everything in detail in the documents. And what of those rumors now? Dying out, thanks to the director and Miss Volkov, who have been working their butts off since the mess started. They also threatened legal actions against the other company after learning about their involvement, which helped settle things.
He thinks to himself in silence, then carefully folds the documents back up and puts his glasses away.
Thank goodness it wasn't as bad as I had feared. And thank you, Crow, for looking into this for me. It's not a problem, sir. It's my job, after all. When I first heard of those rumors, I feared the worst for my son. His reputation is already poor as it is, and he didn't need it tarnished any further. I tried to convince him not to do that collaboration, but his mind was already set.
Letting out a heavy sigh, he looks out into the night.
I'm glad I can rest easy now.
You really care about your son a lot.
For someone so involved in the heists that drive him mad.
He lets out a deep chuckle at my remark.
I just can't help myself. Forget-me-nots heists are just such a joy to watch. How could I not lend a hand?
Oh, interesting.
And we appreciate it greatly, sir. Who knows how far we would have gotten without your help.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Although, may I ask something? Of course, what's on your mind?
I lean my back against the railing, crossing my arms as I look him dead on.
I've had this on my mind since you started helping, but why are you?
There's a small pause as my question sinks in, before Sir Wilkinson lets out another cheery chuckle.
Oh, is that all? It's simply because I genuinely enjoy the heists and wish to see more. Do you mind listening to an old man ramble at this hour?
Go ahead, but I charge per syllable. He lets out another laugh, then continues.
When the Scarlet Rose heists were happening, I was about the same age as Max is now. I was just like him in the beginning, annoyed at this hooligan who takes pride in making shows out of thievery. But as it went on, my stance changed and I grew to anticipate them, enjoy them even. I remember how devastated I was when Scarlet Rose announced his retirement on that final heist. Watching him escape from the museum one final time, I almost yelled out, "Come back, don't leave, you can't quit now."
He sighs once again, looking fondly out into the night sky.
I meant what I said in that television interview a while back. They're so different, but Forget-Me-Nots heists make me feel like I'm reliving those fond memories. I hope that answers your question.
It does, sir. Perfectly even. Amid the cheery mood, one of the grandfather clocks inside chimes loudly, interrupting us. Sir Wilkinson on cue lets out a deep yawn before looking inside.
Goodness, it's already this late?
Sorry I made you stay up so late, sir.
It's no problem at all. I'm just glad that this whole issue has been squared away. Give me one moment.
He ducks into the room, opening a drawer near the doors and pulling out a package from within before returning outside.
I assume this should suffice?
He hands me the package and I take a quick peek inside to see several words of banknotes organized inside.
That it does. If you ever need my services again, you know how to get in touch with me. Of course. Take care, Crow. Have a good night.
You too, sir. Giving him a quick bow, I stuff the package into my bag and climb down the balcony. As I'm making my way off the property, I turn back and see the lights shut off as Sir Wilkinson heads to bed. With a yawn of my own, I pull out my wig once more and walk out towards the city to call a cab. And finally head home for the night. No interruptions? Okay. It takes a bit of time, considering how far apart the bar and the Wilkinson estate are, but I'm finally back home. Andre is already at home fast asleep by now, so the only sources of light are the streetlights peeking in from outside. As I climb up to the attic, ready to collapse right onto my bed, I bump into something on my way in.
What the... Desiree?
Desiree stands in front of me, with a dumb look on her face and decked out in a whole forget-me-not gear.
And just where do you think you're going at this hour?
Nowhere?
Desiree, you're not sneaking out again, are you?
No.
Maybe.
I let out a deep sigh, holding my hands on my hips as I tap my foot impatiently.
Kid, what have I said about sneaking out this late?
That I shouldn't do it.
And what are you doing?
Exactly that.
Exactly. It seems just a normal lecture won't do this time. It's time for serious measures.
I hold out one of my hands, swiping it in front of my face as I put on a more serious expression.
See, you forced my hand, kid. Now I have to put on my dad face.
That's just your regular face, but disappointed. She fiddles with her thumbs sheepishly, and I sigh again, taking off her hat for a moment to ruffle her hair.
If you're trying to see Irina, don't bother. She's not there right now. And besides, even if she was, she needs all the sleep she can get right now, capiche?
Oh, okay. So she's still overworking herself, huh?
Good.
If there's one thing I quickly learned in these years of living with her, it's that Desiree is scarily perceptive. With just a few context clues, she can piece together almost anything, and Irina's secret practicing is no exception.
She has that same look on her face as she did before.
The other night. Climbing up the stairs, feeling exhausted and aching all over, I let out a big stretch as I reached the attic door.
Finally home. I have had enough excitement for one night.
Crow!
Yeah, Jesus.
The door suddenly bursts open, causing me to cling to the railing so that I don't lose my balance.
What the fu... Kid, what are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack?
Sorry. But anyways, Crow, I need to ask you something.
Yeah, and I need to ask you something. Why aren't you in bed yet?
Listen, that's not important. Anyways, you were just at the theater, right? I give her a confused stare, then nod. While you were there, did you happen to see one of the dancers from the ballet company? Almost a hair taller than me, with blonde, wavy hair.
Tall, blonde. Oh, you mean her? I did see someone that fits that there, yeah.
My shoulders start to ache thinking about tonight.
Damn wish she wasn't, though. Who does she think she is, making my job harder than it needs to be? Had to crawl out through the vents, too, because of her.
My whining doesn't faze Desiree at all, and instead leaves her with a worried look on her face. She was there. So she really is overworking herself. She lets out a deep sigh, putting me at a loss for words at a sudden dip in mood. Trying to improve the situation at least a bit, I ruffle her head with a smile.
You know you can always talk to me, right? What's got you so down, kid?
I take a seat on my bed and she follows suit as she cradles her knees next to me. I'm worried that that dancer, Irina, is overworking herself. I hoped it was just me overthinking things as usual, but there's too many coincidences that line up. Tonight made it obvious seeing her come back to her suite so late in the leotard.
Come back to her suite? You snuck out again? Desiree.
She quickly averts her gaze with a sheepish giggle. We can talk about that later.
Damn right we will.
Anyways. I want to ask her about it, to confirm it instead of jumping to conclusions, but I'm not sure how.
Well, since you've already admitted to having snuck out for a midnight romantic rendezvous once, you can probably ask her next time.
Romantic?
Oh, what? You thought I wouldn't recognize the dancer you were going gaga for during the ballet? Not only did you whisk her away into the night during the heist, but you've also been secretly seeing her at her suite? You work fast.
Crow, shut up. I can't help but laugh at seeing her face turn bright red, to which I then pinch her cheek.
Bringing it up is definitely going to be hard, especially since you just met her and all. But perhaps, instead of trying to ask her about it, it'd be easier to nudge her so she tells you. How does that sound?
That sounds alright, I guess. Need to think of how. Her dress was cute. Just random side note. Coming out of my memory of the other night, I stare at the sad look Desiree has on her face now.
You don't have to worry. I told her to head back to her suite. Even said you were worried about her.
That's good. But what about,
She must still be worried about the incident in the afternoon. I promised Irina I would let her explain in more detail, so I'll keep my mouth shut. She doesn't have any hard feelings towards you about that. In fact, she feels just as bad about what happened.
Really? I nod. That's good.
The next time you see her, be sure to talk and listen thoroughly, so you both can be at ease, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Crow.
You're very welcome. Now change out of your costume and get your butt to bed immediately.
Yes, sir.
He really is being a dad here.
Telling Desiree when to go to bed. As she quickly grabs her pajamas from the closet and runs to the bathroom to change, I fling my jacket onto my bed and grab my own sleepwear.
I really have had enough of tonight.
With another heavy yawn, I wait my turn to the bathroom so that I can finally collapse onto my bed like I've wanted to all night. I'm just wondering, because this doesn't seem to be a temporary hideout, they're really just living here, right? But sharing a room? Not a lot of space left for privacy. But okay. The next morning shows up so fast that it felt like I had just closed my eyes a moment ago. Desiree is already gone, most likely hard at work at Ramona's, which leaves me alone in the attic as I roll over onto my back in a half-asleep haze.
So bright.
In my grogginess, I hear someone come up the stairs, which turns out to be Andre, who looks like the exact opposite of me right now.
Morning, sleepyhead.
I only manage to muster a groan as I rub my eyes to try and wake them up.
You look like you got hit by a truck. And I feel like it. Oh. What do you want? Was hoping, after you pry yourself out of bed, you could help me downstairs. The afternoon crowd is gonna start rolling in soon, and an extra pair of hands would be nice.
I tilt my head up to stare at the clock on the wall, squinting to see that it reads about noon. I stretch out all my limbs as hard as I can, then sleepily sit up.
You're lucky it's just past my threshold for how early I'm willing to wake up.
Andre just lets out a chuckle before starting to head back down.
No rush, by the way, so feel free to get ready before you head into the kitchen.
I watch him walk out of the attic and down the stairs, letting out another yawn as I wobbly stand up.
How do he and Desiree make being morning people look so easy?
Oh well. Okay, let's look around a bit from Crow's perspective. The bed, which you don't get to go into right now. I stare at my messy bed, fighting off the temptation to fall right back asleep.
I'm just gonna feel worse if I try to sleep longer. Besides, I don't want to do that to Andre. Desiree used to get on my case about how messy I leave my bed, sometimes even tidying it up herself when I'm not here because it bugged her enough. She's a good kid, really good at keeping up good habits and such, but her attempts had no effect on me. Hard to break out of a habit you've fallen into, I guess. Not that it bugs me.
Check the TV.
I don't want to keep Andre waiting too long, so I'll just watch on the one downstairs. Around this time is probably soaps or those annoying news programs. The one downside to waking up in the afternoon, I guess. I mean, not that the morning program is any better. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. Or any, actually. I don't have any TV reception anymore.
Look at the corkboard.
Let's see. Anything new? Schedule shipments for the week.
In the upper corner, I spot a little note with just the phrase, "Crow stop coming in through the emergency exit."
Well, where else am I supposed to, huh? Just waltz in through the front door?
Maybe. Check the closet. Walking up to the closet, I dig through my half of it for a bit to try and pick something out.
Too loose fitting for kitchen work. That needs to go to the wash. Andre would kick my ass if I wore that. I can just swap out my slacks for some jeans and be good, I think. It feels nice to not work in a place that demands suit and tie every day anymore.
Oh, he did that? Interesting. Photo. Sitting by itself on the corner of the writing desk is Desiree's most cherished item, the photo of her and her parents. I gently pick it up and stare at it fondly for a bit.
This is the one thing Desiree refused to leave behind, and I don't blame her. Her hair looks so short in this picture, makes her look like an entirely different person.
My eyes wander and end up looking at her dad.
Jean-Jacques, sir, I hope you and your wife are doing alright.
Okay, I've been wondering this before. If I should say Desiree or Désiré Legence. Is, like, are they completely French? I don't know. I put it back on its place gently, then give a satisfied huff. Okay, I think that's all. Oh, the cactus. I spot the cactus on our writing desk in the corner of my vision and sigh as I walk up to it.
Oh, right, this thing. Desiree's really into plants, said she gets it from her mother. I tried to tell her no plants up here, but I can never win against her when she pulls out the puppy dog eyes card.
I stare at it for a bit absent-mindedly.
I guess it is kinda cute in a weird, plant-like way. But I still think Pestilence is a much better name than Charles Potley. Just my opinion, though.
Being against plants? Like, I would be against, having to take care of plants, personally. But that Desiree can do by herself. But having them? Whatever.
I think I'm good to head down now.
Climbing down the stairs, I'm greeted by the familiar sights and smells of the gallant rogue. The morning regulars are usually gone by this time, so there's a brief moment where the bar is empty before the afternoon rush starts. Andre notices me as he's organizing things behind the counter, putting down what he was working on.
Well, 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 look who came downstairs, and faster than usual. I had thought you crawled your way back to sleep again. Oh, shut up, you a-hole.
I lightly punch him in the arm as the two of us laugh.
Feel free to head into the kitchen when you're ready to start helping me out for the day. Oh, what? No need to check in with you before I clock in, boss? Don't tempt me, or I'll start making you use punch cards again. Oh god, I forget I said anything. Thought so.
Andre goes right back to organizing things again, continuing where he left off. Meanwhile, I do another stretch to help wake myself up.
Still got time.
To look around. Okay, TV. I stare up at the TV hanging from the ceiling. The lunchtime news starts playing on it right now. And the ballet is going to be around for a few more days, right? That's right, the incident at the museum really pushed back their schedule, but they finally got the okay to finish their tour after all this waiting.
Nothing interesting. All the good stuff happens after a heist or when they get wind of some sort of scandal. Usually provided to them by yours truly, of course. Anything good on the other channels?
Andre doesn't turn to face me and continues to organize and clean everything behind the counter as he answers.
Not unless you want to watch Wimbledon. I'll pass, thanks.
Okay, the bar wall. Looming behind Andre is his impressive collection of alcohol, the second pride of the bar. He's a stubborn man, where if he hears of a drink that can find a place on that wall, he'll make sure he gets his hands on it. I've seen it for myself a number of times in all these years.
And he always lets me test any of his new cocktail concoctions. The advantage of your closest friend owning a bar.
In the corner of my vision, I spot Andre giving me the look.
Relax, I'm not drinking anything yet. Had to make sure.
On cue, he goes back to what he was doing, and I let out an annoyed huff.
And the downside to your closest friend owning a bar, they can control your alcohol intake personally.
You could always get it somewhere else. But I mean, it's good to have someone looking out for you, especially with this kind of stuff. Okay, the menu. Andre might not seem like it at first glance, but he's a fantastic cook. That valuable asset of his is why the bar's popularity increased at a healthy rate to where it is now, alongside the alcohol. While I'm reading over the menu, I feel Andre tapping me on the shoulder.
I can make you some breakfast if you're feeling hungry. No, I'm good, thanks. I can just whip myself up something quick in the back while I'm working. Whatever you say, but the offer will always be available if you want it. I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. Okay, anything at the entrance? Everything again. I mean, it's fun to... It's the same things we looked at before as well, and I'm sure you can just skip it, but having the thoughts of the other characters, it's interesting to me. Photos. Scattered all around the walls are mementos of the bar's namesake, the Scarlet Rose. Whether it's newspaper clippings, fake calling cards, photos of the man himself, or even just Rose-themed items, it has a spot somewhere.
Not every city gets to say it has a phantom thief so deeply ingrained in its history. I was pretty young at the time, but I still remember the hype around Scarlet Fever, as the news called it. Andre was especially moved by it, hence why he named the bar in homage to him. Although I still like to think I'm pretty cool too, even befitting of the title Gallant Rogue as well. Are you stroking your own ego over there?
I'm abruptly taken out of my train of thought as I turn to give Andre an exasperated look.
I didn't even say anything. How did you know? I can just tell.
With Andre looking a little too pleased with himself, I stop staring at the photos along the wall.
How does he do that?
Okay, very good friends, I see. Pool cues. I walk up to Andre's favorite pool cues, sitting pretty in their glass case. Polished to perfection, he takes immaculate care of these things.
Only he's ever allowed to use these things. Everyone else has to use the regular cues. He's told me how long his family has had these things, and I still refuse to believe they're that old. Apparently they're so old that his great-granddad first used them before handing them down the family tree. Interesting heirloom. Though I guess it answers how he's so good at pool.
Sure. Pool table. Sitting so proudly in the middle of the bar is the pride and joy itself, Andre's pool table. It's not an exaggeration to say that Andre is extremely good at pool, and he knows it. It's why he can confidently make those free beer bets with people.
He also is thankfully a black belt, so rarely do I have to help him if someone turns out to be too much of a sore loser. Helps that they're usually inebriated, so it's like fighting a sack of flour. I tried to take him in a game once, and I never got to hit any of the balls.
Wow. Okay, and that's it. Let's talk to Andre. I take a seat in front of Andre as he's working, who sets aside what he's doing.
It's a bit early for our usual shots, don't you think? Can't a man just sit down at a bar without the assumption he wants alcohol? Anyone else? Sure, but you? They drink less wine on Sundays at each mass than you have shots per day.
Ouch, that is worrying.
Rude. I don't even drink as much as I used to.
We both share a laugh as Andre continues what he was doing while I laze around a bit.
Any jobs lined up yet? Nothing yet. Plan on taking a bit of a longer break after this last job. Maybe I'll even take a walk today as a treat.
Andre freezes in place and stares at me with an almost disappointed look on his face.
Oh god, don't tell me you're gonna put on that ugly wig again. It's not ugly. It is.
I give Andre the angriest pout I can muster with a huff.
You and the kid are both so rude about that getup. The last time I wore it for the ballet, she said I looked like a wannabe aesthetic blogger. And she's right. She is not. I told her, and I'll tell you again, if you want me to do anything other than hole up in that attic, I need to wear that.
And I'll tell you again that it doesn't mean you're free from being made fun of for how nerdy you look.
You two are on the same wavelength or something, I swear.
Andre lets out another laugh and continues what he was doing, and I get up from my seat. Okay, time to get to work, I think. Am I ready to head in? Yes.
That's enough lazing about, even for me.
I give Andre a little wave as I open the door, signaling to him that I'm ready to work my butt off. Once inside, I grab the closest apron, tie my hair up into a tight bun, and crack my knuckles as I hear the chime of the front door ring out right on cue.
Good day. Take a seat anywhere you like. I'll be right over. Let's get this started, shall we?
Later in the day. As the last of the afternoon rush walks out the door, I step out of the kitchen with a big stretch.
Finally it ends. I thought that last group would never leave.
Andre walks up behind me, holding out a glass of water in each hand for the two of us.
Good work today. Cheers. Cheers.
After a little toast, the two of us chug our glasses empty with satisfied grins. Andre then pulls out a washcloth and spray bottle, ready to prep for any customers in the lull.
You said you were thinking of heading out for a walk, right? That I did. You sure you don't need me for a bit longer?
Nah, I'm good. A few more of my part-timers are gonna swing by in a moment for their shifts.
You take your time off until the evening. All right, if you say so.
I put the glass on the counter and make my way towards the stairs to get changed. After changing into my casual disguise, making absolutely sure to hide all my hair in the wig, I walk downstairs and give Andre a wave.
See you in a bit. You still look so dumb in that. La 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 la, I can't hear you. See you later.
With a bright smile on his face, he waves back at me before continuing his cleaning. Making sure one last time I look alright and that I have everything I need on me, I head out onto Sidewind Avenue. The atmosphere outside the bar is completely different than inside, with the city so active and bustling compared to how somber GR is. Looking down the street, I take some time deciding on what path to take on my walk.
Haven't visited old Ramona in a while. Maybe I can pop in for a visit.
Okay, we have some wanted posters here, spotted them right away. As I'm walking past the bar, my eyes are drawn to an eyesore plastered in the nearby alley.
Can't believe these things are still around.
I walk in and rip it right off the wall, staring at it in my hands. Wanted, Sungwon Kim, for acts of fraud, money laundering and assault. Do not engage if seen, a suspect is known to be volatile.
Someone clearly has nothing better to do if they're putting up these stupid things again.
Crumpling it up in my hands, I shove it inside a nearby bin. I then lean on a wall with a sigh, running my hands through my hair to try and fix my mood.
All these years later, and they still have it out for me. Maybe one day I'll finally be able to live as myself again. Oh, rough.
The gallant rogue. Sticking out like a sore thumb is Andre's pride and joy, the gallant rogue.
It may be one of the most popular bars in the city now, but it's had its ups and downs in the beginning. Andre told me there were a lot of times he was close to quitting, between the old building before this one, his old landlord, so on and so forth. But I'm glad that he stuck with it. The city wouldn't be the same without the GR around. Guess you can even say I'm proud of the guy.
Yeah, running a business isn't easy. Bar entrance. While I'm still here gawking at the door, I take the time to make sure I have everything I need.
Keys, wallet, phone. Yep, that should be everything. Not like I need much, to be honest. I'm just gonna be walking around aimlessly for a bit.
That's the most fun sometimes. I look at my watch to quickly check what time it is.
Just after 4. About an hour or so should be good then.
Okay. Where to go? South End? Don't think we can. I stare down the street towards the south end, where the business center lies.
The business center. I don't want to go down there ever again, at least as long as I'm not paid to.
Catching myself feeling worse for wear, I slap myself in the face lightly to try and shake this feeling off.
The hell am I doing feeling like total shit right now? Andre would kick my ass if he saw me moping like this.
Yeah, go on a stupid little walk for your stupid mental health, dude. A sweeping clerk.
Oh, this is the bakery Desiree likes. Well, one of the many at least. That kid has such a sweet tooth.
As I think about her, I can't help but look in through the window and stare at all the snacks and pastries lined up so neatly inside. The clerk sweeping by the door takes notice as he walks up to me.
Is there anything I can help you with? Oh, you're Desiree's friend. The fact that you said that means she comes by here more often than I thought, huh? Yeah, she visits us a few times a week, and more often than not picks up some shoe pastries. Is there anything I could help you with? I am going to visit Ramona's. Speaking of, do you happen to have any fresh shoe pastries I can buy? That we do. Boss made a fresh batch this morning. They're on the left side of the display shelf. Thanks.
I decide to quickly walk inside and buy a small batch of them, enough for her and Ramona to share. After I walk out, I give the clerk outside a little wave.
Take care. Have a good one.
You too. Have a good day, sir.
She'll be surprised when she sees this for sure.
I'm wondering, can you just not do that? And then we don't give them pastries? Interesting.
Down that way is Ramona's. They're both probably working their asses off right now, so it'll just be a quick visit to not bother them.
After a short walk, I make it to the part of Sidewind that Ramona's is on. The foot traffic always picks up around this area, what with it being closer to the city centre and whatnot.
Yeah, I've never liked crowds, especially on sidewalks where people forget how to walk at human speeds.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
But I'll deal with it if it means stopping by the shop. It's been a while since I visited.
Okay, most important things first. Marigold.
Well, if it isn't the little furball. How are you doing, Marigold?
I squat down to give Ramona's cat a little scratch behind the ears, to which it practically shoves its whole face into my hands for. Letting out some of the loudest purrs I've ever heard, it drops its face all over my palm.
You are the neediest cat I've ever seen in my life.
As if understanding me, little Marigold lightly bites my fingers.
Hey, no biting. I thought Ramona taught you not to do that anymore.
I shake it off gently, and it proceeds to start grooming itself, looking a little too pleased over what happened.
You're just like a Rona, I swear.
Okay. Let's look around first. This, no. I don't think we're gonna go further north. Looking up the street going further north, I see the city centre and the ever-growing crowd that usually clusters there at about this time of day.
Crowds are fine if I'm not in them, especially if it's full of tourists. People pushing each other around to get to where they need to be, yelling over each other, stopping to take pictures in the middle of traffic. Man, talking like this makes me feel like a grouchy old guy.
But you're so right, though. Ramona's. Sitting pretty in this part of the street is Ramona's Flowers, the surprisingly popular flower boutique people can't seem to get enough of. Is that what you call it, a flower boutique? I don't know whether it's the cozy look of the place, the prices, or even just Ramona herself that brings people here, but whatever it is, it works amazingly well.
And to think it would have gone under along with the rest of the street had Ramona not hired me years ago. From what I remember, that landlord was just a typical sleazeball who charged extra on the lease while pocketing the extra cash for himself. If I'm being honest though, I think if Ramona was allowed to, she could have very easily knocked some sense into him by herself. A sweet flower shop owner who punches like a heavyweight champ, there's a reason why she never has to deal with those kind of retail customers.
Handy. Okay, let's go in. Am I ready to head on outside? Yes. Walking closer to the door, I can already smell the overwhelming scent of all the flowers and plants Ramona keeps inside.
I forgot about that part. Oh well.
How can you forget it? I sigh and open the door as the bell hung on the outside welcomes me in. Stepping into the quaint little shop, I look around at all the plants and such Ramona offers for sale. Everything so neatly organized and with so much to offer, you'd think you just walked into a greenhouse. I see Ramona behind the register, who looks up from her account book to greet me.
Hello there, how can I?
Oh, it's you.
Hiya, Mona. Long time no see.
Almost didn't recognize you with that mop with that mop on your head. You're trying to look younger?
Oh, don't you start. I've heard enough about this thing from those two.
She lets out a hearty laugh, then pats me on the shoulder with the biggest smile she can muster. Well, it's good to see you again, Crow.
Knowing you, though, I assume you're not here to pick up any plant. No way, that's Desiree's thing, not mine. Speaking of Desiree, I actually came by to see how she's doing.
Well, you're not suing her right now, that's for sure. She's got a visitor. I stare at her in confusion, to which she just points to the back room without a word. With a shrug, I peek inside to see what she's talking about.
Ah, that's what she means.
She's back? Yay. Inside, I see the visitor Ramona mentioned, who is none other than Miss Irina Lebedev herself. The two of them have the biggest smiles on their faces, chatting with each other as Desiree works on some orders. And we finally get to see their actual height difference. Cute.
That must mean they talked it out. Good.
I back up from the door, making sure the kid doesn't see me, and turn back to Ramona.
How long have they been talking for?
About a half an hour so far. Miss Lebedev came in and apologized to me for suddenly walking out the other day. The two have been glued to the hip since then, so you definitely won't be speaking with Desiree until she leaves.
Shame, I had bought her some pastries to snack on and wanted to surprise her. Can I leave them with you?
Not unless there's one in there for me.
Of course there is. Who do you think I am?
I hand her the bag, which she takes a quick peek inside of. Of course it's shoe pastries. Thank you, Crow.
My pleasure.
The two of us walk over to the register, where Ramona puts away her account book to give me her full attention. So, how have you been as of late, Mr. Vigilante? Not bad or exhausted? I don't know why I do that. No. There we go. Sorry, a bit confusing sometimes with the controls. Like, the story is basically linear and just small things change, but it's just such a habit for me to save upon a decision. Not bad or exhausted? Both, I guess. But he was pretty exhausted, right? So let's just be honest.
Exhausted. My last job had me crawling around in the damn theater hall of all places.
Now that sounds like a headache. Isn't the theater hall only second to City Hall in terms of security?
Yes, and I hate every second of it. Dang rich people and their infatuation with the performing arts. I'm not taking another theater job for at least a few months after this headache.
Isn't it a good thing they don't have that kind of security over at the museum?
It is, and every day I'm thankful that Sir Wilkinson loves the heist too much to increase their security detail. Even if it means ticking off a son who's been demanding it since day one.
The two of us share a laugh. Speaking of, does Dee have anything new planned?
Not that I know of, no. She better not, though. 2 big jobs so close together, the third one would knock the poor girl out.
She did seem pretty exhausted after that sunrise glower, whatever heist from before.
If you see her pushing herself too hard, let me know. I'll come over and personally drag her back to bed.
I'll keep that in mind. Amid our chatting, Ramona suddenly pauses as if she was reminded of something. That reminds me, I talked to Misty recently.
Desiree's mother? How have she and Jean-Jacques been?
They have been fine, although they have been busier as of late. She stares at me for a moment before a sad look appears on her face. How has Desiree been lately, though, if I may ask?
She's been alright, but that's what worries me. She is a smart one, able to read other people no problem, so it wouldn't be crazy to assume that she's doing a good job hiding her own pain.
Ramona lets out a deep sigh. It's been almost 4 years since they had to move. That's a long time to be away from the people you care about. I know Misty and Jean-Jacques miss her a lot.
They'd be able to at least talk like normal if it wasn't for her grandfather going into a panic because of what happened. She told me how overprotective he was years ago, and to think that it still holds true even now. Because of that, they can only really talk through snail mail, and we only have a PO box, so we don't even know their address. It sucks. Honestly, you'd think even just texting would be okay.
I look back at her briefly.
You're certain you can't give us Misty's number?
Sorry, Crow. I promised her I wouldn't.
You know how her father would react if a random number that wasn't spam suddenly called her.
A solemn air hangs between us for a moment before Ramona continues with that smile of hers right when we need it.
But it makes me even more glad that she's with you and Andre. You two have done so much more for her than you realize. It's nice to hear that. I mean it. Misty always tells me that even though she wishes she could be with Desiree, she's at least glad she's not cooped up with them. She's grateful to Andre and especially you. Well, next time you chat with her, tell her that I appreciate that a lot.
The moody air manages to disappear after that little pep talk, thankfully. And right on cue, we hear a sound from the back room as the duo makes their way out to the front together. You don't have to walk me to the front door. I'll be all right.
It's fine, it's just a short walk. I don't mind at all.
In the middle of her chatting, Desiree pauses, then turns around to face the cash register. I gave her a little wave when she realizes that I'm standing there.
Hiya, kid.
She starts positively beaming upon seeing me and hops over to where we are.
Hiya, right back.
What are you doing here? I give her hair a light ruffle with a chuckle at her boundless energy.
Just out for a walk after helping Andre and decided to visit Mona here. We've been talking for a bit about things.
That's right. He was babbling about how lonely it was at the bar without you around, which is why he came to visit.
I was not, you liar.
In the middle of our little conversation, I spot Irina standing awkwardly behind Desiree during all of this. Our eyes meet, and I give her a little wink.
It's nice to see you again, Miss Lebedev.
Again? Oh, it's you. Likewise. Now feeling like a part of the conversation, Irina walks up next to Desiree. I like your hair.
Thank you. Finally someone has something nice to say about it.
Still think you look ridiculous.
Not listening.
As all four of us share a quick laugh, I stand up from the counter and turn to Ramona.
It was nice seeing you again, Mona.
And it was nice seeing you too, Crow. You should stop by more often.
I'll think about it.
Ah, you're not sticking around?
No, I'm gonna go walk some more before I head back to help Andre for the evening.
I guess that's fair. I wanted to chat with you a little bit more, though.
Oh, what? The half hour with Irina wasn't enough for you? You've gotta get back to work at some point, lover girl.
I'm... Desiree starts stammering like mad, her face turning the brightest red it can, and I can't help but holler out a laugh seeing this.
I'll see you back at home, okay?
Okay, Jack. I bring my attention back to Irina, who's been giggling at Desiree's stammering.
You're heading out too, right? I can walk you out if you'd like.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll see you another time soon, alright, Desiree? Yeah, of course. I'd be more than happy to see you again. I mockingly let out a quick whistle, which makes Desiree immediately flustered again. Okay, that's it. Out. You've been here long enough.
Bye, Desiree. Have fun at work.
As Desiree pushes me out the door as fast as she can, I give Ramona one last wave before I'm fully out. A whole fun friend group. And sometimes more than friends. Well, that's nice. Everyone's in on it now. Once outside, I turn to Irina, who chuckles with me quickly. She gets flustered quite easily, doesn't she?
Yep, and it's very easy to mess with her. So, where are you off to now?
I promised some friends of mine from the company that we'd go visit a bar together for dinner. It was highly recommended to one of them, so we've been meaning to check it out, though that won't be for a little while longer. What about you? I scratch the back of my neck as I think of an answer.
Honestly, not really sure. Was thinking of just wandering around a bit until I gotta head back home. By the way, it was nice to see you again. As much as I wasn't fully expecting to.
The feeling is mutual. And, She looks away for a brief moment, rolling her fingers over the ring she's wearing before looking back at me. Thank you for keeping your word about what we talked about the other night.
You're very welcome. I'm a man of my word, and you can be sure of that.
I give Irina a playful bow, to which she giggles at, before giving my usual wave.
See ya.
Take care. The two of us go our separate ways down the street, as I start walking north and think to myself about how to spend the little time I have left.
I don't have anywhere else to go, so I'll just meander to get some more fresh air before I head back to the bar.
Okay, so no getting in trouble. Later that evening. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it here for today. I don't have that much time today, unfortunately. Because not that much has happened, if we're being honest. But I like that kind of, how do you say, easygoing, like, daily life. You know? Slice of life. There, that's the phrase I was looking for. Slice of life kind of story without all the heists and stuff. That's nice. That's honestly a relief from, the drama I was expecting. Sure, everyone was a bit unsure there for a while, that's normal. But we already cleared up. We didn't linger on the drama. That's honestly nice. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's it from me for today. As always, I'd appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.